Hey there, I'm Rue, and thanks for clicking on this video on Rue with Books. So this is my BookTube newbie tag. So I'm here to introduce myself, talk about my tastes, what I like reading, what my favorite series are, what I hope to gain from having this channel, etc. I've got some coffee, and I hope you do too, or your favorite beverage of choice, to relax and get to know me a little bit. So, as I've already mentioned, I'm Rue. I'm an astrophysics graduate. I enjoy programming, gaming, reading. Those are kind of my main hobbies. Um, I didn't read very much during school because there's plenty to be getting on with homework and mandatory reading, textbooks. So I wasn't really reading much for pleasure. Um, but after graduating from university, I rediscovered the hobby, and I've been reading a hell of a lot since. Um, so I mainly read on Kindle. I've got a nice Kindle that's been with me for a good while. Um, Sometimes I buy physical books, um, but mainly I read on the Kindle, and I do have a library rota where I do pick out books that I wouldn't be reading as much. Like I've picked out Lord of the Flies, and that's what I'm currently reading from the library. And yeah, I think the library is a good opportunity to pick out books I wouldn't be reading so often, get some very niche picks, or read something that's very popular or classic, and enjoy it. So my tastes, my favorite genres are fantasy and sci-fi. There are many subgenres within uh, fantasy, such as like literary RPGs, um, progression fantasies, epic fantasies, all that kind of thing. There's so much to read and so much to explore, and I'm still exploring the genre itself to see what my favorite kind of things are. I do like to read literary fiction, classics, and horror time to time, depending on what's on my TBR. My favorite series are Dungeon Crawler Carl, um, is one. I really love the constant mayhem. There's so much always going on with Carl and Donut and all the other crawlers and the interviews, and there's just something just constantly going on that is just keeps me gripped to the pages. Um, and I just love the dopamine you get when he levels up and has stats to distribute, and like there's things like he has to think about classes, and Donut has to think about classes, and it just it just really scratches my brain, and the humor is just so up my street. I love it, just from things like the foot fetishes, and it's just so ridiculous that it's just absolutely incredible, and it's very just for me. Um, I also love the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. I'm still making my way through them. I think I've read about 8 of them so far. Uh, my favorites have been Guards, and um, Going Postal. There's still so much more to explore with that. So I'm very excited to read more of those and give my opinions and discuss those books as I get through them. Um, I just love how absurd the characters are. Like for example, Carrot is just absolutely amazing. And every book just has such a cherry picked, beautiful selection of just amazing, ridiculous characters. And it always gets a smile out of me. The humor is also very up my streets. The plots are absolutely outrageous, and the satire is very satirical. Really enjoy those, and I'll be very excited to talk more about those on this channel. Um, Having talked about fantasy, I also really love the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, um, because it's an amazing political story. Usually, I'm not so much drawn to the politics, but when it's like instead of like emperors, empresses, it's just normal people leading their own factions. I think it's a bit different, and the way that the Jade uh, magic system works is so well written. It's such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure to read. And I really enjoyed how it's a true saga with how the characters age, and you see them over the course of a very long time, how they progress, what friendships they make, um, how they bounce back from certain situations and setbacks in their lives. Um, First Law is also one of my favorite series. There's still much more of Joe Abercrombie's work to read, much more of the First Law universe books to get through. But the characters are brilliant. Glockter is one of my favorites. He's just so cynical and always thinking the worst about things, and he has so many witty, snide remarks throughout that it's always a pleasure to read his chapters. And you have like Logan, who has his own story arc, and he's trying to be a better man, but he's constantly having to do bad things. Um, it's just so good. The humor is actually amazing as well. I'll be uploading a the Devils video soon, and I think the humor in that was just as good as the First Law books, and maybe even more frequent than in the First Law. And yeah, the First Law was just a really well written story. I really enjoyed how it just went kind of full circle by the end of it. It was really really smartly done by Mr. Joe. So I enjoy reading because I love getting sucked into a good story and just letting the hours pass me by. It's such a great form of escapism that really like requires full attention. You can't, I mean, you can listen to audiobooks and do something else on the side, but I prefer reading with something in my hands, be that a book or my e-reader. Um, and yeah, just letting the hours pass me by. I always remember stories that I read much better than if I just like watch a TV show or a movie, for example. So it's I think it's just a great hobby for me. Um, I love seeing. I think I'm somewhere in the middle between a character first reader and a story reader. So I love seeing how characters engage with each other, how they progress throughout the story, what setbacks they have to tackle, things like that. And I just love having a good laugh in a book. That's as you saw, as I mentioned already. Dungeon Crawler Carl and Discworld are some of my favorite series in First Law. My favorite series always littered the jokes and just have me chuckling all the time. And I've read quite a lot of random kind of series as well that are kind of mostly just feel good and humorous. But I challenge myself sometimes and read things that are not as funny and do a little bit like do other things. Um, I want to make this YouTube channel because I want to build a community to talk books with, um, kind of creating discussion videos um, about certain books that I've read, and seeing what other people's opinions are on them, maybe things that I missed, themes that I didn't pick up on, things like that. And I think that creating a channel and talking books that I've read will give me more time to consolidate my thoughts on the stories. Um, Creating content will get me to think just a little bit more deeply on the books before I pick something up again and read something else. And I'll get to find out what's popular at the time. Like, for example, Dungeon Crawler Carl is absolutely blowing up. And who knows, if I had this channel a year or two ago, maybe I would have picked it up when there was only 3 books and I would have been with the fandom for a lot longer. and gotten to see it as it comes out and enjoy it with a lot more people. So um, it'll be good to get recommendations and see them kind of progressively get more commented in the comments below. Um, and yeah, pick those up. So thank you for watching this video. Be sure to comment what you're reading down below. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, happy reading. Thank you. Bye bye.